Were you at Pride already when?
Yeah, I was in Japan. I was fighting in Pride when all that was going down.
The slam? Was that?
Yeah, all that.
So you kind of got the Lorenzo interested in coming over if that was already happening.
But Dana White, they wanted me to come to the UFC for a long time, but Tito was champion back in the day there. I'm like, I don't want to go there. I want to stay out here in Japan. I loved fighting in Japan. I like what they stood for. They was more about entertainment in Japan, and UFC was more always about who's the best. In Japan, they didn't care who's the best. Who was the most exciting? Yeah, that was my style. I like exciting people.
That's why it was actually frustrating for us back then, because people would always tell us, "Oh, the Pride guys are better than you." I'm like, that's because it's tape delayed, dude. You know what I mean? Like, you turn on a fight and you're like, don't realize it's 5 minutes and they're there. We'd have a 10-minute first round. But you turn on the fights and all of a sudden you're watching them and this fight starts and all of a sudden you're like, man, it's like minute 3 now. Oh, what the hell happened? Well, it's because that 7 minutes of boredom where the guy was just holding him up against the ring, they edited it out. So then you watch it, you're like, well, you're watching an edited fight. Of course it looks better. I could edit anybody's fight and make it look a lot better than it is. You know what I mean? It's going to improve the value of it. So, they did that. And then we were live. So there was no comparison. But then when all those guys came over here and fought, none of them fought. Who had, well, you were actually the only one that was successful.
And Anderson Silva.
Anderson Silva, yeah. Anderson came over from there. Obviously, his fight was extraordinarily successful.
But a lot of people think that was for steroids, though. They think the reason why Pride fighters didn't do well in when they came to the States is because of steroids. Yeah. Because in Japan, they didn't test for steroids. I remember in the rules meeting, they give you like a little sheet of paper, tells you all the rules. The first thing on the paper was like, we do not test for
anabolic steroids.
Yeah, and I had never heard of anabolic steroids. I never heard, and I asked my coach, like, what is anabolic steroids? And a couple of fighters looked at me and started laughing. Because everybody thought I was on steroids.
Bro, you want some?
Yeah, everybody.
You know what? The rumor that we always heard over here was that everybody over there was doing meth. Because remember, you see like Quinton, Vandalay. Like fucking throw 500 punches around and fucking go nuts. You see guys just brawling, going nuts. Remember
I think they
Don Fry and the fucking.
They were shooting them before this fight, probably.
They were probably doing EPO. I think they was probably doing. It was rumors that Ninja and Shogun was on EPO because they was doing crazy and never got tired. See, our rounds was 10 minutes. The first round was 10 minutes. So I was in great shape, but I wouldn't go crazy. No way, because I'd be scared.
But majority of those guys they let it go, like just go, and I'm like. Crazy. So that's when everybody started going, what the fuck are they on that they can go that hard for that long? You know what I mean?
But I think they test for weed and cocaine or whatever
drugs.
They test for that stuff, but they didn't test for steroids. Because I've heard stories of some fighters failing drug tests over there. I'm not gonna say any names because this was years ago too. I can't remember. Well, but I've heard a couple of fighters failing drug tests, but it wasn't steroids.